Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. Today we are on the Texas Tropical Trail taking a look at some state parks. And the one we're looking at is the Resaca de la Palma State Park. Now, Resaca is a Spanish word for oxbow lake, as the Rio Grande has swindled here and there. It has changed its shape, it has changed its boundaries, and it leaves behind oxbow lakes at certain points. And that's what this park preserves. As you can see, I took a handy bike. Sometimes it's better to just take a bike instead of walking all those trails. It's much better to just get on the bike. Helps you get to where you're going to. It helps you check out some of the sites. It helps you see some of the stuff that you've been wanting to see without having to take those long walks. Now, we're here in the valley, so everything is pretty much flat. There's a lot of mesquite, there's a lot of cactus, and the heat was kind of unbearable, but not that bad. It was a bearable kind of heat. And as you can see, it's summer and it was pretty much dry. So I wonder what things would be like if you come back and you see some of the resacas or the oxbows in the wet season when they're kind of filled with water. And there's my bike. For some reason, I could not get used to that seat. I don't know, maybe something is wrong with my butt. But as you can see, there's trails that are shaded. There's some little outposts that you can go to where when the water is flowing, you can see some of the wildlife, you can see some of the birds that have returned. So I think maybe it's better to come back in the winter. I think that's when the wet season is. But it was still an enjoyable park, even though at certain points I wanted to die. But thankfully, I have my new backpack with the little water straw that I carry. I'm not sure what type of backpack it's called. It has a name, but it's been a lifesaver. As you can see, part of it is some weird cedar woods. Um, get to enjoy walking through some nice forested areas and get to look at the dry oxbows. I just imagine what they must look like when the water is actually here and you see some of the wildlife. But at the same time, it still kind of retains its own beauty, and you can sort of just look out at them and think, you know, part of this was part of the Rio Grande at one moment, at one point in time. And it shifted, and now it's not, and now it's part of the United States. So it's kind of cool. And also, everywhere you go, you see these little creations by little insects. I think they're called ant killers or something like that. Ant lions, and ants fall in there and they eat them up. It's pretty cool. I used to play with them when I was a little kid. But this is pretty typical of the South Texas brushlands. Low trees, low shade coverings, and seasonal wet areas. Here they try to make a little area for birds to come and hang out, and some of them did. If you are patient enough and wait long enough, you get to see some pretty cool insects, some pretty nice birds. But here's a boardwalk that lets you walk over the water when the water levels are risen, and you can see how the place would definitely be a good place for birds to hang out with at during the summer. No, the winter. Um, but when it's not, they do look kind of like beautiful fields where you just want to go out there and play soccer at or something. But that's pretty much what Resaca de la Palma State Park is. Make sure to go check it out. It's definitely worth a visit. And thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Bye bye.